Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Aliyah Martin. In the headlines, Dominica's businesses resume operations guided by strict protocols. Details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Dominica for the first time hosted the United Nations Special Committee on Decolonization C24 Regional Seminar for the Caribbean. The three-day seminar, which began on Wednesday and ended on Friday, was held at the Cabot Resort and Spa, Kempinski. The seminar was held within the framework on the start of the 4th International Decade for the Eradication of Colonialism 2021 to 2030. The seminar was held under the theme, Charting a Dynamic Course for Decolonization in Commencing the 4th International Decade, and in light of the coronavirus disease, COVID-19 pandemic through commitment to mandate, collaboration, pragmatism, and agility. Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, and Diaspora Relations.
December 14, 2020 marked the 60th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of the Granting of Independence to Colonial Countries and Peoples, which was adopted as a General Assembly Resolution 1514 of 14 December 1960. Since the adoption, the resolution by the General Assembly in 1960, this agenda has made significant advances throughout the world, with more than 50 of the current UN member states in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Pacific gaining political independence. The fact that Dominica has agreed to host this year's conference under very challenging circumstances supports that Dominica fully subscribes to the importance of the C24 Committee and its significance as part of the United Nations agenda.
Dr. Daru says this meeting was convened at a most difficult time of existence, at a time when the United Nations has been situating itself to pursuit of justice, respect and fairness, but more so in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic that present economic uncertainties around the world.
The effect of this pandemic is even more daunting for small island developing states such as Dominica. Some of us already overexposed to economic and environmental shocks long before the COVID-19 started. The attendance of so many small and developing countries at this year's event further supports that we are not merely passive members to these UN committees, but rather we recognize the needs of each member state as it relates to sustainable development, including the least developed countries, landlocked countries, and small island developing states, particularly those forced to function amidst ongoing conflict or post-conflict. Additionally, the ongoing experiences of managing the COVID-19 pandemic have exposed and in some cases exacerbated the overlapping inequalities as well as weaknesses in socioeconomic and political systems and threatened reversals in human development around the world.
Minister Daru says Dominica is proud to be associated with this year's conference and reaffirms its steadfast support to the autonomy initiative within its territorial integrity and national sovereignty as only compromise solution to artificial regional disputes.
It is my sincere hope that this conference will see renewed committed efforts and vision in the interest of colonized countries and people. The Commonwealth of Dominica takes this opportunity to reaffirm its determination to continue to take all steps necessary to ensure the effective and full implementation of the Declaration of the Granting of Independence to colonial countries and peoples. In closing, I'm sure you will have many fruitful and rewarding exchanges over the next couple of days, and I look forward to the report on this outcome. I wish this conference the very best, and I'm hoping that your deliberations on this tiny, small developing island nation called Dominica will be an historic one. One where groundbreaking decisions are made, and you will take back home with you cherished memories, not only of our island paradise, but knowing that your deliberations here would have made the world a tad better place for all of us.
The seminar considered recent developments with respect to the 17 non-self-governing territories in the Caribbean, Pacific, and other regions on a case-by-case basis, particularly in the context of coronavirus pandemic. The seminar's conclusion and recommendations will be considered by the Special Committee and subsequently tabled in the General Assembly. While a global pandemic continues to disrupt economies around the world, Minister for Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, Honorable Octavia Alfred says, government continues to ensure that Dominicans are being intellectually equipped to function within any economy worldwide. This fiscal year, government invested a hefty sum of $77 million into the Ministry of Education as part of its effort to use education to transform the country, advance its people, elevate the youth, and impact the world.
Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence is striving to be more responsive by providing citizens with education that prepares them to participate in the national, regional, and global economy. Mr. Speaker, the Dominica Labour Party's Manifesto 2019, Dynamic Dominica, articulated our Prime Minister's vision that in every household in Dominica, there must be a university graduate. This measure is intended to raise household income and the quality of life across the island. This will give families a new sense of hope, pride, and more stable and secure future.
The Education Minister says government has invested over $30 million, which has allowed over 3,000 Dominican students to pursue tertiary education.
This government has invested more than $30 million in enabling 3,779 individuals to obtain tertiary education ranging from associate degree to PhD level. In this regard, I wish to acknowledge the Dominica State College, the University of the West Indies Open Campus, Cave Hill and Mona Campus, Southern and Northern Caribbean Universities, Monroe College, Midwestern State University, and Grambling State University, among the many other universities and colleges, including those in Europe and all around the world.
This fiscal year, government has set its sight on enhancing the efficiency and accessibility of services provided to Dominican students through policy and management.
This new budget is making it possible for students to claim 100% of interest paid on students' loan. Mr. Speaker, when we say we care for all Dominicans, we mean just that, all. We are very passionate about the development and well-being of our people. A special human resource unit has been put in place to deal specifically with students' affairs, and we are currently working on an information management system and a financial assistance policy which will greatly enhance the effectiveness and efficiency in the services we offer to our students.
The Education Minister went on to boast of major transformations in the sector through this year's budget as it sets a clear path towards the transformation for continuous human development.
Under the Dominica Labour Party, the education system and opportunities for education have been transformed. We will provide opportunities for our people to be trained for the numerous jobs which our investments and policies are creating in the economy. Our people will be ready to work in the jobs, the new international airport, the digital and green economy, and the geothermal projects will provide. In this regard, we will complete a review of the list of national priority areas, which is already revealing the need for more of our students to engage in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and technical skill-based courses of study. Dominica, under this Dominica Labour Party administration, is determined to stay on course for continuous human resource development.
The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence received the second highest allocation of 11.8% within the 2021-2022 national budget. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
This is CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque. I took the jab, the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm encouraging you, my brothers and sisters, to join me. Take the jab and observe the protocols. We're saving lives and jobs.
Raise your voices high.
Welcome back. Approved businesses in Dominica, guided by the measures articulated by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, are resuming operations after a recent shutdown following the spike of COVID-19 cases. As expressed by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and Minister for National Security Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, these new measures will allow local business owners the opportunity to continue business, which in turn will stimulate the local economy. Shakira Pear has more in this feature.
For many business owners, the resumption of services came as welcome news. These establishments are committed to adhering to the protocols put in place by the Ministry of Health and joins in the fight against COVID-19 in Dominica. The Government Information Service went to several businesses to get a first-hand view of operations. Chief Executive Officer of the National Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Elmer Irish, says protocols have been put in place for the safety of staff and members.
As a social partner, the NCCU has taken the need to establish and to put in effect the protocols established by the Health Ministry. Initially, we started with establishing a task force among our top management staff. The idea was to first understand what the protocols are and to determine implementation. So we have been following all the protocols. Every member who comes into the business must wear a mask. Every member has to sanitize. We have established the social distancing in every building.
Ms. Sari says throughout the 7 branches, members are encouraged to social distance as they wait to be assisted. He says staff members are also encouraged to get vaccinated and tested.
We have said to our members that it is better for them to call in to make appointments when necessary to ensure that their time within the credit union is limited. We have encouraged and continue to encourage all our members of staff to get vaccinated. We have, however, insisted that all our staff must be tested, and that was done. So as of now, all our staff are aware of what their status is.
Ms. Sari says to adhere to the protocols put in place by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, staff members are to wash and sanitize their hands and workstations regularly.
We have ensured that we have placed barriers to further protect our staff, frontline staff, throughout our branches. We have provided masks and encouraged them to wear the mask. We are encouraging them to sanitize and wash very often. We have also used the internet, the email, to provide our staff with updates almost every other day by issuing what we call bulletins. That would include things like updates on any staff that has been affected by the COVID, any things that we are doing in the branches to ensure that all staff members are safe.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected most businesses and the local economy by extension. Mr. Irish says business at the credit union has never been halted.
Business has been brisk, especially in the area of deposits, withdrawals. We continue to encourage our members to, 1, obtain debit cards to utilize the ATM. We also have a Q or CU online service, and we continue to encourage our members to get access to that. And therefore, rather than having to come into the credit union to update their books, they can simply go online and update their information, transfer within accounts using the online service. So we continue to do that, and we have encouraged. As it relates to the loans part of it, there's obviously a slight slowdown for reasons that I think we all know. The members would probably sometimes prefer not to come in until the situation changes. But generally, business has been good for the credit union.
During the pandemic, the NCCU is still keeping its obligations to young persons by providing scholarships to students.
The credit union continues to do those things that we normally do. As recent as yesterday, we held our first virtual scholarship award ceremony. We were able to grant 17 students scholarships to attend secondary schools. So yes, we continue to do what we are used to doing and what we must.
The new measures also extend to beauticians, barbers, and other face-to-face providers who have been approved by the Ministry of Health to conduct operations. Ms. Shanda Marshall is the proprietor of Ashi's Nail Salon. She outlined the steps taken upon entry into her business.
When you come in from the entrance, you have a sanitized machine with rubbing alcohol, 70% upwards. Then when you get inside, before you come to the main nail station, you go to the sink where you use a hand brush, soap and water to wash, and then you come to the main station. After every client, I give the next client 20 minutes before to sanitize the area. I use Lysol and bleach.
She shared some words of advice to other nail technicians.
I advise all nail salons, especially nail salons, to put a screen on the table that is very good protection and follow the protocols, maintain good hygiene, and maintain good hygiene with your customers, with your tools, and in the business place.
Owner of Brody's Barbershop, Mr. Rayland Ravalier, says although customers were skeptical in the initial stages, they felt reassured once they saw his sanitization processes.
The reopening was very tough in the kind of way, customers were more or less just get to come in, but then when we let them know exactly what we're doing, how we clean up and what we're doing, everybody start coming by appointments. I spray my wall down, clean my seats every 10 customers, we do a clean up on the seats and disinfect the whole place.
Special accommodation will also be made for students who may have to return to school in September.
We want to have a special plan for school children. We want it to be school children alone, not no adults come and tie them up. It's cater for school children.
Another small business owner, Miss Natasha Louis James, says her business of 2 years is up and running. Strict protocols are to be adhered to at the NATO's Pedicure and Manicure Beauty Spa.
My customers have to call to book an appointment. My pedicure normally takes an hour and a half, so I give them that time range from an hour and a half so I can sanitize everything, my chairs, my equipment, everything, and then I call my next client. All my customers have to wear a mask by the door. As soon as they come in, they sanitize their hands, make sure they have their mask, they sanitize, and then I work with my customer.
Mrs. Louis James expressed her gratitude to government for allowing businesses to recommence operations.
I'm very, very thankful to the government for opening up the small businesses. So I just want to tell the Prime Minister thank you, and a big thank you to the Prime Minister for hearing our cry, for opening the business. Even though it's from 6 to 6, it's okay, we can work around it. So I just want to tell the government of Dominica, thank you.
Public Relations Officer of Jolly's Pharmacy, Mr. Carlton Lando, says more measures were put in place to further encourage the guidelines put in place by the Ministry of Health.
I can tell you that every staff must wear the mask at all times and on time. So once you get into the building, you are required to wear your mask. It doesn't matter what department you work. You could be in the administration, you could be in the pharmacy, you could be on the floor. In retail, you are supposed to wear your mask. Hands are sanitized. We have made sure that we have alcohol at all our locations for sanitization. Even internally, at our desk of our customers. At the desk of our staff, alcohol is also placed there. But what we've done too is to ensure that we have the tips on the floor that sort of give people that demarcation, that awareness that they need to distance themselves from the next customer. Our security officers ensure that hands are properly sanitized.
Jolly's Pharmacy also ensures that baskets and trolleys are properly sanitized after every use. Mr. Lando says an education program has been developed for the dissemination of COVID-19 information.
We have really embarked on a lot of information dissemination to really help not just the national campaign that has been meted out, but also to really liquefy the information in simpler terms to people, to let them recognize the seriousness of COVID-19, and not just in terms of mortality, but also in terms of complications, what it can cause, long-term complications that it can cause. You may survive, but then at the end of the day, you may end up having some complications. And so we ensure that we really keep on advising people from a practical and educational standpoint.
A limited number of customers are allowed into the stores for better management of COVID-19 protocols.
We are currently at the mega branch in Fokole. This is a much larger branch, so it can at least hold up to 60 people at one time because of the ample space and if you look at the sizes of the aisle, it's quite wide. If you look at our King George, the 5th Street branch, that is the branch close to the Point Michel bus stop, we are advised to at least have 25 to 30 people at any given time at that branch. And our branch on Great George Street, we're advised to have at least 15 to 20 people in that location because it's the smallest. And so we've been adhering to those guidelines. We've had people from the environmental health periodically stop and look at our operations, look and see if we've been adhering. We've had policemen come in at any given time of day, and at the same time to look and see what we're doing, if we're adhering. You would also say, I'll also say too that our gym is closed at the moment, and it's all in line with adhering to the protocol.
The brisk security team at Jolly's Pharmacy continue to make the transitions in and out of the institution a lot smoother. Doors are only handled by the security team, limiting touching. The security team is also trained to recognize persons who have armed bands to ensure compliance with quarantine protocols.
Last week we actually had someone entered into the building, and our security officers intercepted that individual and called the police. And so we are sending a warning out there too, that if you're in quarantine and you do have a ban, you are not allowed to enter any of Jolly's Pharmacy premises. And you should really remain at home. If there is some medicines that you may need, you can actually call us at 448-3388. You can actually email your prescription to us if you have access to, some type of smart device at pharmacy@jollysonline.com, and we will find a way to get your medication across to you. But we would not encourage you to breach the quarantine protocol and come to the store. It would be at your detriment because we would be allowed to call the police to actually have you arrested.
Meanwhile, Sales and Marketing Manager of the Dominica National Lottery, Mr. Ken George, is pleased to be serving the public once more whilst complying with health guidelines to ensure the safety of their customers.
First of all, we accept no more than 4 people in the office, the main office. We mark the area where you could stand, and then upon entry, the security ensures that you have your mask on. We do your temperature check, and we also do your sanitizing of your hands. And we try to enforce the social distances as much as possible in order to follow the business protocol, because as you know, we have to follow the measures so that we can remain open.
Adjustments were also made to the operating hours at the DNL to keep in line with the new protocols for all businesses.
So our main office opens from 8 to 5:30, and that's on Monday to Friday. On a Saturday, we open from 8 to 12:30. And by doing so, it also helps us to alter our draws. So we have our draws, 3 draws a day. That's from Monday to Friday. And the draws are the morning draw. We have the 9:30 draw, the 1:40 draw. And what would have been the evening, it becomes at 5:30. And then on Saturday, we have our draws at 9:30, which is the morning draw. And then at 12:30, we have all our draws. So basically, only 2 draws on a Saturday. And all that is keeping in line with the measures taken by the ministry.
As students recommence their studies in the upcoming weeks, GIS Bookstore Limited has set out protocols to safeguard their customers and the island at large. Human Resource and Administration Manager of GIS Limited, Mrs. Juliet Lewis, says the measures put in place will safeguard the people. However, they must do their part.
We encourage all our customers to observe the protocols, attempt not to be too difficult because some of them can be a little difficult. So we encourage all customers to observe the protocols. It's in their interest as well as ours.
Business owners went on to encourage the public to know their status, get tested, and to get vaccinated as Dominica aims to achieve herd immunity.
We are encouraging all our members to use the opportunity to get vaccinated. The statistics has shown that most of the persons who are affected and have major problems are those unvaccinated persons. So we continue to encourage our members to use the opportunity to get vaccinated.
Barbers is one of the people in the most dangerous, but yet we use the most out of them. I try my best to follow protocol. That's very important. When it comes to the protocols, I believe all of us responsible for each other and we should take part in following them.
Big up Brothers Barber Shop, #1 barber shop in the town.
The most important thing right now for Dominicans is follow the protocol, and what I'd really love you all to do is get vaccinated. That's the most important thing for me right now. Get vaccinated.
I've always said our health is our greatest resource. We can have all the money in the world and we don't have health, then it means nothing. And so we have one body. One body. None of us know how long we're going to be in it, but we have one body to preserve and protect. And so the onus is on us to, do everything in our power to protect ourselves against this virus. Get tested. It's important. I have been tested 3 times. Get tested. It's not as painful as it may look. You're looking at videos and you're wondering, oh my God, this thing get into my nose, and it's not as painful. It's uncomfortable, but it's painless. And enduring this little thing compared to several injections you may get at the hospital, which would you choose? Get vaccinated. It's important as well. I was saying to somebody yesterday that we use so many things that we know that may not necessarily be so safe and healthy, yet we use them, yet we eat them, and we don't question whether it's going to affect us or hurt us. So the vaccines are here. We want to encourage you. I have been vaccinated. I got vaccinated since in April because I've always been a huge advocate for vaccines, and I do believe that vaccination is the way to go. It is the alternative, maybe the major alternative that we have.
We would like to encourage our customers to please get vaccinated, because the quicker you get vaccinated, then it gives us an opportunity when the country can come back to the level of normalcy. I know, for example, our blast players, they are missing the blast, and I would appeal to all the blast players who wants the blast to reopen to get your vaccines. If you get your vaccines and you know that we reach the level of immunity, that will give us an opportunity where we can open and to ensure that things come back to normal. So on behalf of us at the National Lottery, we are encouraging our own staff likewise to be vaccinated, so that when customers come into our office, they will feel that level of security.
Shakira Pear for the Government Information Service.
Thanks, Shakira, for that feature. And now your weather update. Unstable conditions associated with a weak tropical wave are expected to produce a slight increase in cloudiness during the next 12 to 18 hours. However, significant shower activity is not anticipated. Breezy conditions are also expected as a high-pressure system will regain dominance thereafter. Meanwhile, a tropical wave, which is being monitored in the Atlantic, now has a high chance of development for the next few days. At present, this system is not projected to move across the Lesser Antilles. Slight dust haze will persist across the area during the next 24 to 48 hours. People with respiratory sensitivities should take all precaution to avoid complications. Slight to moderate seas are anticipated during the next 24 hours, with waves peaking near 7 feet. A further increase to 8 feet can be expected by tomorrow. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Aliyah Martin. Thanks for watching, have a great weekend, and stay safe.
Thank you.